In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the ANDYCINE C7. Sponsor warning. I did receive this product to review from ANDYCINE. Thanks for sending it in, guys. As always, I will be taking a very balanced approach to reviewing this.
More fair and balanced coverage after a word from our sponsor.
Which I guess is what everyone who's bought out tells you. First, we're talking about the price, build quality, and specs with this. Coming in at $215, it's actually not a terrible price for a monitor like this. The build of the screen itself, it has like a plastic kind of casing around it, which makes sense for a monitor for this price. It does kind of make it feel a bit cheap. And I will say that though the screen is nice and large, it is a bit bulky. I like things a bit more compact because I travel so much, but I wouldn't say that this is necessarily a deal breaker, just one to consider. One of the key features ANDYCINE touts about this monitor is its weight, which despite its bulk only comes in about 0.75 pounds by itself, and with the large battery it comes with about 1.17 pounds, so not terrible. It sports a 7-inch HDMI 1920 by 1200 touchscreen that also has 1200 to 1 contrast ratio, a pixel density of 323, calibrated for Rec 709, an HDMI output of 4K 60 frames per second, and it also has 500 nits, which when you compare that to the BMPCC6k Pro, that has 1500 nits, so about 1000 nits on this monitor, and it's very comparable to the brightness of this Pocket 4K camera that has around the same brightness level. It's not awful, but it's not pierced through the sun and blinds you bright either.
You are observing the sun at 2% of full brightness.
Accepts F970 batteries, pretty standard, but also provides 3 different power input solutions like DC power adapter and a 5-volt Type-C input that you can use to charge and power this actual monitor. This power also can be used to power a wireless video transmitter, which is featured by the 5970 installation and power suite on the back that can house and power wireless transmissions, LED lamps, and other equipment. Inside the kit, you get on Amazon, which if you can purchase there, it seems to be the best price available for this. It comes with a monitor, an NP-F550 battery, 1 battery charger, a carry bag, an HDMI to micro HDMI cable, a tilt arm, sunshade, and sunshade mounting frame, and of course the manual. All right, let's get to the features in this monitor. The various options that the screen provides are actually its biggest seller in my point. It has a ton of great features that you wouldn't expect to find in a product like this. So let's take a quick walk through what functions are included on the screen. After powering on the device, you can access the menu by pushing the scroll wheel button at the top or double tapping on the screen, and to the left, you are presented with menu options. At the top is the analysis setting that includes Waveform, Vectorscope, Histogram, and audio meters, as well as a way to turn them all on at the same time or individually, with various settings to change to fit with what you're looking for. In the next folder, you have Focus Assist, Zebra, Check Field, False Color, HDR, LUT Switch, and LUT Import. Focus Assist and Zebra give you a lot of control over color and intensity of feedback, and love the in-depth settings for these in particular because you just don't see this variety of options very often. The false color is impressive with 2 different options for viewing false color spectrum or Arri's false color settings, and a nice graph to the side of both showing what the colors represent. And this impressed me the most, to have these multiple false color settings in one device. You have the HDR setting, which gives you HLG 202, HLG 709, and HLG color spaces if you're working with HDR. And in the LUT folder, you can switch back and forth between S-Log2, S-Log3, Log-C, and V-Log, as well as the ability to import LUTs for different cameras. Next, you have your typical screen guides like Crosshair, Safe Areas, Cinema Guides, and Crosshatch. Each comes with a lot of options with it. In the next folder, you have options like aspect ratio guides, zoom, which you can do in the menu, or just pinch and zoom out of the menu. Image flip, which also can be set to auto if you're constantly switching back and forth on how you need to view your monitor. Next, you have the various options for calibrating the monitor with brightness, backlight, contrast, saturation, sharpness, hue, and color temperature. Last is setting for user groups, so you can set different presets for user settings and switch back and forth, which is very helpful. And then the rest, you have volume, language, menu, firmware, and tips. And that closes out this very comprehensive menu system for the C7 Lite. You can also access a shortcut menu by swiping from the bottom up on the monitor. So lastly, I did a quick test to see the difference of between what this kind of looks like versus what on my 6K Pro is displayed, and the color difference between it and what it's showing, because sometimes you want to kind of see that color accuracy to the human eye and see how like close it comes to matching what your camera is actually showing. And I compared it to, because this is a problem I had with the last ANDYCINE monitor, this C6 right here that I reviewed a while back. While this one is much brighter than the C7 Lite, the C6 actually has a lot of problems with the colors don't really match very close to what's on the camera. Here's kind of the image of what it looked like last time I did it with the camera, and here is the little bit better test that I did that shows this C6 the 6K Pro screen and the ANDYCINE C7 LITE monitor next to it. This is much better color reproduction, in my opinion, and stays a lot more true to what's actually being shown on the camera than the C6. Despite being a bit bulky for my taste and a little on the dimmer side, it's a pretty solid monitor and one that gives you a good amount of options for cameras that don't have special monitoring capabilities. I'm not sure I would recommend this as a run and gun monitor due to its size, as I think there are some other smaller options out there that you probably do better with over the long term if you're kind of like me and you travel a lot. But if you're in a studio or you just need a decent reference monitor on the go in general, it works pretty well. And if you liked this video, we've painstakingly gone through all your personal information and matched you with the perfect video to watch after this one. So watch this video here as closely as we watch you, our audience. Gosh, that was creepy.